And unfortunately, growing up, we've all had those like different people, those different groups, those different like bands and stuff that we've watched. So
Mm,
if you guys have seen the news recently, One Direction, one of the former members, his name is Liam. If you know who he was, you know who he was.
yeah.
Unfortunately, passed away.
And
Now,
so unexpectedly too.
it was unexpectedly. So I know I just want to before I give you all the details and like break down what happened and stuff like that. I had a cousin who was literally have. I have a cousin who was obsessed. I remember growing up, used to go to all the One Direction shows. And I remember we all used to make fun of her and be like, yo, like why? Like you're doing too like, yeah, their songs are good, but to go to every concert and stuff like that. But it's just like I think back to the memories of like when we had like those fifth grade concerts and like One Direction came out, it's like, you light up my world like nobody else, you know? And I'm
Yeah.
like,
It was a big staple of our childhood.
legitimately, right? So let me give y'all a brief little description. So,
Mhm.
like I mentioned, Liam Payne, the former One Direction singer, died on Wednesday after falling from a third floor balcony at a hotel. And I'm going to say this name wrong. Buenos Aires? Aires?
Buenos Aires.
Yeah. Oh, that was cute. Mm. So, some of the key points we wanted to mention: there was a 911 call before his death. A hotel desk manager called 911 reporting that Payne appeared intoxicated and was destroying his room. The manager expressed concern for Payne's safety due to the room's balcony. So, there was an autopsy that was done, and it was found that he had multiple trauma with internal and external bleeding in his skull, chest, and limbs, but there was no sign of foul play or defensive wounds. It remains unclear if Payne's fall was intentional or an accident. There was narcotics and alcohol that were found in his hotel room, but toxicology results are still pending at the current moment. When y'all watch this, that might have changed. So make sure you do your research on that. And the prosecutor's office is investigating. And basically, yeah, it's like there's been everybody's just grieving differently right now, too.
Yeah, I do want to mention that he also did have a little controversial
Hmm.
history. I was seeing on social media how his ex was saying that like he had already used the like him committing suicide as like a thing to get her to respond, like, oh, if you don't respond then this is going to happen. And he has reached out to his ex's family as well to kind of like get his ex's attention. So clearly I feel like he had already a history of, he had expressed he had a drug and alcohol abuse problem,
Hmm.
and things were already shaky on that end. And I just think it's death as a whole is very like weird to me.
Hmm.
Because whether he had his history or not, I think when someone passes away, that's still a very shocking thing. And I think the saddest part of it all is, regardless of how you feel about his death, um, his history with whatever, I think our society now is very weird, because imagine you seeing that your brother passed away, and before you even get a chance to like speak on the phone or
Yeah.
grieve with your family, you're seeing it on social media. TMZ got a lot of backlash for this because apparently they posted parts of his corpse, I think his arm, on the news article when they broke the news. And I think that's just so insensitive. Like, whatever, I get it, it's the news industry, but certain stuff like you didn't need to include a portion of his body to break the news or to
Yeah.
explain the news. So imagine you learn from social media that your brother, your uncle, your father, whatever it may be, because he did have a son, or he has a son, this is how your family member died on social media. I was walking to my sister's and I literally gasped. I was like, he was 31. I'm 27.
Yeah.
Like 27 to 18, 19, 4 years away from me.
I agree. I think I just want to, echo the point that you made. This, if you're going to break the news, break the news. Like, you don't need to release certain things. Like,
Yes.
what does showing his corpse do for the story? It like, and Shayla and I can tell you this. Like, we work in the news industry, so it's like being into us, like being the first to tell the story, right? And it's like, yes, there's always going to be elements that another news station has. There's always going to be an aspect to the story that another news station has. But if you have the core bones of the story, people are going to watch what they need to watch, right? So seeing, I mean, unless like you one of those people who like to look at corpse, which is seek help, what I don't understand what that would have done for me. Like if I saw that, I'd probably be more disgusted and click out of the article, not continue to read.
Yeah, well, they definitely removed it after
For
receiving
sure.
backlash.
Right.
But it's just so sad, and I did want us to mention it because we grew up in that era. But we also wanted to acknowledge, yes, that he did have a history of, you know, being not nice to his exes. But the fact that he left behind a son, right? Like now his son is gonna grow up without a father.
Yeah, and I just want to say from my standpoint, because I remember I was when I was reading up on the legal troubles and stuff like that. I mean, like from a childhood standpoint, from core memories and stuff like that, like it's the same thing with Diddy. Like I remember listening to his songs and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like this is like, yeah, this song fire. But then once you hear about how they are personally, it's like as much as I may have liked you as a child, me currently, yes, I'm gonna have that negative opinion of you still, dead or alive.
Yeah, yeah. I just feel bad for the son and the family because regardless, like that's still someone's brother. You
And
know?
I feel like also, I don't know, obviously, I don't know what the I don't work in law enforcement. I feel like there needs to be a change in procedure on how like family members find out, because like there's no way that families, like even with like Kobe's wife, she found out from social media too that her man
Yeah.
was dead. Like it's like we've seen this trend of people saying like I didn't find out until I went on Instagram, Twitter, or something like that. And it's like,
But here's the thing, like first responder wise, we're supposed to tell the family, right? But the thing is, if it's in a public place, people talk, the things people do for money, right? It was a hotel. Someone took photos because that's how they got this corpse footage. You know, they leaked the information to earn money, and that's how the news outlets learn before the family members, because the protocol is that no one should know, right? Like usually law enforcement does not confirm or send the press release until the family member knows, but
mhm,
because people are desperate for money, they send the videos, footage, whatever, and they break it to a news outlet. But
yeah.
anyways,
I mean, it really does suck because
yeah.
I would hate to like if like we were scrolling and we just got the notification and we gasped. I can't even imagine
Oh
people
my,
who have like an actual connection or actually speak to you every
her
day.
brothers. You're on a plane or on, and my brother passed. What? Oh my god, I can't.
I might collapse right there.
Girl, I gasped and I have no connection.
I gasped strictly because I remember sitting in my living room listening to that song.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing them as a group on the red carpets and stuff like that. I'd be like, oh, look at them, like they're together. I remember making fun of my cousin for always going to their like their concerts. Like you have those core memories of people, but there's people who literally have known these people for years. So like imagine just seeing that. I just think we just need to be,
We need to do better as a
yeah,
society.
do better, and we just have to like think of like I know as someone I have a habit of like not caring, but like I feel like in certain aspects you just have to think of other people, right? And it's just like think like if you were in that predicament, you wouldn't want to find out your mother was dead off the internet, would you? No. That's just we'll leave it there.